At UMC, access to your healthcare is only a call away. Dial 74-NURSE for free, instant medical advice from experienced and trusted UMC nurses, 24 hours a day. Learn more at umchealthsystem.com.
Welcome in, everyone, to the UMC Health System AJ Media post-game show, coming to you from Jones AT&T Stadium, where the Texas Tech Red Raiders win big tonight over Stephen F. Austin, 61-13. I'll start right over here with Krista Pirtle. Tonight, Baker Mayfield, fantastic in the first half. He only plays a half, but maybe more impressively, the battery around him really showed up tonight.
It helps for a freshman quarterback to have that many weapons by his side. Jason Morrow had a career-high 8 catches. Bradley Marquez had a 60-yard touchdown. He said he was looking at himself in the Jumbotron all the way down. They couldn't contain Jakeem Grant, so with those kind of weapons, it's easy for a freshman quarterback.
And Don, continuing on with weapons, not only did the people around him play well, he added to his lure as a running quarterback, especially some key third down situations.
Yeah, I think he was a better quarterback this week than he was last week, even though his statistically he didn't throw for as many yards and didn't throw for as many touchdowns. But the area in which Baker Mayfield made progress this week was you didn't have the ball security issues. He didn't have tip passes. He didn't drop snaps for the most part. He more or less protected the ball and was the same take charge, decisive guy. And the other thing I liked was he shows really good judgment running when it makes sense to run. There was a couple of times when Tech was in a 3rd and 10 situation early. He runs for 12 yards to get it. Then they were backed up here in a 3rd and 10 right here at the 4-yard line in the second quarter, and he goes for 11 yards to get it. So
we're gutsy run.
Yeah, and so we're continuing to see the growth and development of this young quarterback.
A lot of poise with Baker Mayfield, but onward to the defense. Krista Pirtle, finally we saw it tonight. The defense gets a turnover. 2 of them actually. The first one, though, Dartwan Bush, a nice strip recovery by Jackson Richards.
Absolutely. All those up-downs in practice have paid off for the Red Raiders with this first turnover. That fumble, you should have seen the guys jumping up and down after they got it. It was a beautiful strip by Dartwan Bush, and Jackson Richards got the recovery. And then late in the game, when all the starters were on the bench, they get a pick all the way back to the 4-yard line for a 67 return. So they didn't look too bad.
That one by Zach Winbush, 63 yards, and they celebrated on that one too.
And Don, the defense, not just with the turnovers, but overall really solid, especially you look at the 2 deep. The first and second team defense, a nice job tonight. They really made the air raid ineffective for Stephen F. Austin.
And I think from a defensive standpoint, that's what you look for in this game, because going into the week, a couple of things jumped out at you about SFA. They're an air raid team, and last week, even though they lost, they scored 40 points and they racked up 564 yards. And there are a lot of games like this when you win handily, but then the other team still goes and scores 20 points, 24 points. My score pick on this game was 52-20, but defensively they never let Stephen F. Austin really get the passing game going, never really let him get untracked. And so it was a good go not only for the offense, but I think for the defense as well tonight.
And Don, during the course of this win over Stephen F. Austin, one of the big storylines in the second half, Davis Webb plays quarterback for Texas Tech. The redshirt option is gone. Is this putting some clarity to the quarterback situation for the Red Raiders?
Yeah, I think we had more clarity, a couple more cards turned over, to use a poker term tonight. One is Davis Webb obviously comes in second half, plays the entire second half. I asked Cliff Kingsbury afterward. A lot of fans thought Davis Webb would be redshirted with the success of Baker Mayfield, and I said, was that an option? Cliff says no. No, he didn't really elaborate.
Very short answer.
Firmly said no, it wasn't an option. He was going to play, which, again, going back a week or two ago, I thought both of these guys would play. And then the other, thing I think is becoming more of a kind of a storyline here is at such time as Michael Brewer does get back, whenever that might be, is Baker Mayfield vulnerable to being replaced? And I don't think you can take him off the field right now.
No, he's doing everything you're asking him to do, and quite frankly, you're not going to bring a kid back off an injury like that and just replace someone who's doing the job and winning football games.
Yeah, particularly when we're talking about just about to segue into conference play, and Michael Brewer having not practiced for a month now.
And Krista, that segue into conference play going to be a short one. A quick turnaround next Thursday night right here in this stadium. TCU comes to town. I think we're really going to find out at that point where Texas Tech is as a football team.
Absolutely, and with Casey Bahal breaking his arm in tonight's game, it's going to look the same way like it did last year with Trayvon Boykin in the pocket for the Horned Frogs. And I think that this team is ready for it. Trey Porter said in the post-game press conference that he gathered his team up and said, hey, look at this score from the TCU game tonight. We cannot let them beat us.
And Don, the TCU game last year ended up being one of the more entertaining on the entire schedule with about, 45 overtimes it felt like. And Thursday night going to be a big atmosphere. That's national television, the big crew in from, all the national media. Spotlight's going to be firmly on Texas Tech.
Yeah, I just spoke to Kenny Williams about 15 minutes ago and said, last year you had a 47-yard touchdown run that looked like it put the game on ice. And he said, yeah, I thought it was kind of over at that point, and then go on and play the longest game that he's ever played. But yeah, I mean, high stakes here for next Thursday night. Have TCU coming in. They're going to be ranked. I think they're 24th, 25th this past week, and it's going to be a good test for Baker Mayfield in this offense because TCU, of course, hangs their hat on defense and all the schemes that Gary Patterson has. And, the other thing about it is, okay, everybody's happy since they scored 41 points against SMU, 61 points against Stephen F. Austin, but much better personnel on that TCU defense. I think much better X's and O's as well. So big test on Thursday night.
And, of course, before we get to that Thursday night game, there's a few things to take care of here. I got to get these two back upstairs so they can do some writing. Lots of coverage on the Red Raiders win over Stephen F. Austin, available at LubbockOnline.com and RedRaiders.com. Then we'll switch it around and we'll get you ready for Thursday night, the Big 12 Conference opener against TCU right here at Jones AT&T Stadium. But for right now, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the UMC Health System AJ Media postgame show. For Don Williams and Krista Pirtle, I'm Zach Long. We'll see you next time.